discussing in that moment that very topic, like should we keep going or should we go back, when I glanced up to the ridge, the very top of the mountain.
We saw a man on the ridge above us.
He was far enough away that I couldn't see his face, I couldn't see anything, any details about his uniform, but I could see that he was holding a rifle. And he pointed to the ground where he was standing. He said, "This is Iran." And then he pointed to the trail where we had just been hiking and what we had stepped off of, and he said, "Iraq."
At the very beginning, it was one of those news stories that I just couldn't stop thinking about. We actually have a funny thing. We work together in Los Angeles, and he would come into the office, right, where I was working. And
yeah, she'd be looking at the computer screen and crying. And the first time I was concerned, you know, like, "Are you okay? What's up?" You know, thinking she's reading an email, and she's like, "It's these hikers," you know.
It's so weird.
So, and I'm like, man, what is, there's like a million stories out there, like, why this one? Why is it, you know, really affecting you? But
yeah, and that was it. I mean, it was this very strange compulsion the whole time to tell the story and to see if there was a way that I could help. And at a certain point, I went onto the websites that they had. There was the Free the Hikers website, Free Our Friends website, and I saw they were holding vigils. So I went to one of the vigils and was really moved by the stories that their friends were telling about them. And at that point I was like, I have to help. I have to do something. You know, in a news story that is coming and going over months and over years, you forget, you know, but if this is your daughter or your son or your brother or your sister and you're going, this is your life. You've given up your life as you've known it to take on the task of getting your loved ones home in this completely volatile geopolitical situation. There are so many people around the world who are being held unjustly, often politically, and they don't necessarily have the media spotlight or the support that Sarah, Shane, and Josh have had. And they know that. Sarah, Shane, and Josh will be the first to say, you know, we had support. We always knew there were people out in the world who were looking out for us. And knowing that there are so many people who don't have that voice, if there is a way that this film wakes people up to that or reminds people of that or you know, just humanizes it, then I think we've hopefully done that part of our job as filmmakers.
not only were we making this film, but we were also hoping to try and help them get out. So we would, use footage that we had shot and cut together, pieces that they would put on the Free the Hikers website, and stuff that we could do, whatever we could do to help spread the word.
I couldn't believe actually how perfect premiere this was for the film. We've had so much support. I got to participate in the Impact Lab, which was this really beautiful 2-day training session prior to the festival beginning, where we were really talking about impacts and where films can go when you actually are working to change policy, change legislation, make noise, have a dialogue. You sort of see government as government, and then you start talking to people, individuals working within the government, and you're like, oh my gosh, they want great things, and we can be part of that dialogue as filmmakers. And then also, I just feel like the audience here really gets what we were trying to do with the film.